Nigerian polity. Chief Victor Umeh, the veteran politician, former national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, and a former senator as well, joins us shortly.
Yes, we are putting the pieces together again this afternoon, and of course the prologue there already sets the tone for what we'll be looking at. The situation generally in Nigeria, and particularly in the southeast region of Nigeria. Our guest is here. My pleasure to welcome distinguished Senator Victor Umeh. He's a veteran in the political trenches in Nigeria. A commander, if I may also use that expression. Good to see you, sir.
I'm not a soldier.
I said political trenches.
Okay. I think you're only in the military that you use command.
There's no way you do write the history of politics since 1999 that your name will not be conspicuously present there. You know the reasons.
Yes, I know. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good to see you, sir.
My pleasure.
Okay. What exactly is happening in the southeast? Let's start from there, from the southeast region. Can you help our understanding of what actually is happening in the southeastern states?
Well, I believe by that you mean the security challenges.
Security situation.
The security
burning of police stations every day, killing of policemen, burning of prisons, and all of that.
I think what's happening in the southeast is coming in much later than such things started happening in other parts of Nigeria, particularly from the northeast. And there have been several events both in the southwest that suggest that the country is in a tense situation. The southeast issues that started coming up very strongly in the past few weeks go to support what is happening in Nigeria generally. There is general breakdown of security in Nigeria. It has been very predominant in the southeast, in the northeast for the past 7 years or thereabout, spread across northwest, went to southwest, not to talk about the Niger Delta, where the militants have been operating over the years, and now the southeast. It goes to show you that the center is no longer holding. Government has not been strong in dealing with the issues that led to some of these problems generally in the country. And everybody wants to be noticed. If people are complaining every day about certain things that are not going well, and government is playing ostrich to those issues, people emulate others, to draw government attention. In the southeast, the type of security challenges we started experiencing were out of the old fashion. At this time, you can say that people who are complaining have become more desperate, and some people are no longer also afraid to die. That is why we've seen the resurgence of arm carrying, shootings, daring the military, daring the police. I think the police is now a small force. If you compare,
it's soft target.
Because you can see that the way they are overrun shows you that with ease, shows you that our security architecture is very weak and very porous.
So, do we know what the grievances of those people are? We're talking specially about the southeast now. Do we know what their grievances are? Because in the other places we could know what the grievances were. If we start from where it all began, the south region.
South region, okay.
We know that it was as a result of deprivations.
Yeah,
we cannot be taking so much from the soil that we own. In the process, we destroy every other means of livelihood for us, and then the money we are realizing from that product, we're not benefiting much from it.
Yeah.
That will appear to be legitimate. In the northeast, insurgency based mainly on religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And then banditry is the one that a lot of people are still struggling to put meanings to. A lot of people will tell you that it is pure criminality.
Yeah.
In the southeast, what would be the grievances or grievances of those that are killing policemen, attacking correctional centers, attacking and burning down police stations? What is their grievance?
Well, those people who are doing that, I'm not holding brief for them. I'm not saying why they are doing this. But if you draw from what has happened in the southwest and some other places where you pointed the deprivations as a ground for people to react, this way, I think southeast is the most deprived part of Nigeria, and their complaints against marginalization had led to so many dissenting activities, dissident activities like groups that have been fighting to get government to change its policies towards the people of the southeast since the war ended. You've had MASOB, you've had IPOB now, IPOB is the latest, and all these activities revolve around this set of people who have said, if you don't want us to be part of Nigeria and you don't want to solve our problems, let the heavens get loose. And it's very pathetic, sincerely speaking, Benga, that in Nigeria, people who are in authority have continued to play the ostrich. I was reading yesterday where a presidential spokesperson was insulting people who are complaining about wanting or branding them enemies of Nigeria. There's no way somebody can be enemy of his country if life is good for him.
That's true.
If he feels fully accommodated in the scheme of things, he cannot levy war against his own country. It is because people have refused to accept that there are a lot of reforms that need to be carried out in this country. People have, through several means, pursued a lot of agenda like restructuring. People have complained about the constitution, and this constitution here, you see here, it was established through Decree 24. Decree number 24. You don't make constitutions through decrees. Decrees things is military fiat. So if you have a constitution that was given to your country by the military via a decree, it means that there was no discussion, no constitutional conference to bring that constitution about. So the constitution is purely foisted on the country by the army.
The constitution of the people is supposed to be a social contract. It's a social contract, and that go through series of negotiations after that contract. Everybody knows his rights, his responsibilities, and whatever it is that your aspirations, everything captured within that social contract.
The constitution you are going to give to a country will come out of a series of negotiations, like you said, discussions, and perhaps also intellectual conferences that will guarantee the rights of all persons that will be subjected to the provisions of that constitution. And
the extent to which they have submitted themselves to the constitution.
Yes, so that you can accept the constitution as a supreme document. The military made this constitution and set in a section the supremacy of this constitution. This constitution binds all persons and authorities and institutions in Nigeria. Who drafted the constitution?
And did you see the constitution until even when the political actors have been sworn in ostensibly on the constitution that nobody saw.
The president had been sworn in, and the president had been sworn in. With the constitution, he did not see that it wasn't in place. It wasn't printed.
Yeah.
It was at the verge of inaugurating the National Assembly in 1999 that they had to wait for the finished copy of the constitution to come.
That was in June.
In June, and that was what led to the delay in the inauguration of the National Assembly. So this is the situation under which we are operating, and you have since the constitution came out, everybody has read it, or majority of Nigerians have read the constitution, and they have disagreed with a number of provisions in it. So many provisions were argued, and in this constitution, remember, the military brought everything it had done over the years and put them in the constitution. The military created states, the military created local governments.
There were even laws passed by the military in form of decrees that were then
incorporated in the constitution. You don't create a state or local government in a civilian democracy through the military decrees. So all those states that were created without any negotiation, local governments that were created without any negotiation, they were all assembled and put in this constitution. If you go to the appendices, you see there shall be 36 states in the Federation of Nigeria, and proceed to list the states and their capitals, their headquarters. There shall be 774 local governments in the Federation of Nigeria, and proceeded to list them, with their headquarters in this very constitution.
And this is military language. Military language. Yeah.
So they created all these structures of government and put them in our constitution, and then went ahead to put in the sections for creating additional local government and states, and made it so impossible that one additional state can be created by anybody, no matter how you tried it. It was only during the civilian, in the First Republic, they were able to have 4 regions, and Midwest region was agreed to by acts of parliament and all that. Midwest region was created, 4 of them. So beyond that, in 1967, when Gowon took over government, he balkanized Nigeria into 12 states. From there, it was a competition against successive military regimes, how many we will create. Local governments were shared to important people in the military then. And because of the way these states were created and local governments were created through military fiat, you find people who had the same ancestry being in different states. They were divided. You have a state where you have Abia State, they have a Akwa Ibom crossing. People from one side are on the other side, and the military created them. That's why homogeneous people were balkanized and scattered everywhere, because it was by military fiat. If it was through a civilian process, people will choose who to be with. This is my brother, let me be with my brother. These are my brother and sister, let's be with them. But just announcement early in the morning, the army will announce, I hereby create.
Are we therefore saying that the source of all that we are seeing now, and particularly in the Southeast again, that the source is in this constitution?
Yeah, we have so much reasons to be unhappy. The military created these local governments I've talked about, and Southeast has only 95 local governments, the list of the 6 the political zones in Nigeria. 95.
Now, and local government.
Yes.
One state in the north alone has more than half of that.
Kano has 44. Jigawa has 38 or thereabouts.
So Kano and Jigawa
has covered 5 states in the southeast. Yes. So we have every reason to be angry with this structural arrangement. We have also only 5 states. So, and this is a country where everything is being done on the basis of number of local governments and states. What you get, statutory allocation of revenue, to states.
Yeah.
The Southeast gets for 5 states.
The list, yeah.
Then for local government, we get the list 95. South has 123 local governments. South, our neighbors. And Southwest has 137 local governments. So you can see that through the military actions, the Southeast have been lampooned to a marginalization that is miserable. Through the political process, they continue to bear the same brunt. Because you want to do anything in Abuja convention of any political party, any major decision in the polity, you bring delegates from states and local governments. So this is the problem. And apart from the way we've been cheated in all the activities of government, that look at the people of Southeast as people who rebelled against the country, even though the war ended 51 years ago, they've been made to suffer all manners of denials and deprivations. You know, if you don't want to look at this structural marginalization of the people of the Southeast, and you want to give the nation a chance for them to go on until such a time God will make things even again for them. You go to that constitution, you see why there is problem in Nigeria. Despite all that they have done to put certain people down through the structural arrangement put in the constitution, the framers of this constitution identified the need for everybody to have confidence in the Nigerian nation. And they went and inserted a provision in the constitution which they did not know will have a far-reaching implication in the life of this country. Look at section 43 of the constitution, and I will read it. That's why I came with the constitution. Section 14.3 of this constitution says, the composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of its affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity. The need to promote national unity and also to command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or in any of its agencies. For section 14.3, composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of its affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity and also to command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or in any of its agencies.
In other words, if there's a breach of this, if you cannot compel somebody to be loyal to the country.
What you are seeing today is an expression of disloyalty to the Nigerian nation.
Because by people who feel that the government
has not conducted its affairs in a manner that is fair to all. If you run an inclusive government, a government that does not single out some people for punishment or anything, no matter how small you are. In America, you have the state of men, and other small states. They are existing in America without quarrel, because even as small as they are as a state, they are protected by the Constitution and the activities and conduct of the government of the United States of America. So here, what I have read out to you now, there shall be no predominance of persons or a few states or ethnic groups or sectional groups in the affairs of Nigeria, be it appointments, agencies, everywhere. So is that what we are practicing now? This section 43 I take it as the crux of the matter. When you run a government that is nepotic, a government that is not even-handed, a government that is not balanced, what you begin to see is rebellion So all these things here because denial of their rights guaranteed by the Constitution is a justifiable ground for rebellion. And it's left for somebody who is in government to find a way of quelling this rebellion through its own actions, not by threats. Somebody was saying that nobody can intimidate the president, nobody can bully the president yesterday into doing anything. And anybody who complains about marginalization or anything is an enemy of Nigeria. It's a very unfortunate thing to see. So we cannot be insincere and we want to build a strong nation, united nation. You must be in a position to be even-handed. Remember, I was a member of the 8th National Assembly. I was in the Senate. I was the person who was always speaking about equity and fairness in the way we do things in Nigeria. Not to favor my people, but to favor all parts of all people of Nigeria. As provided for by Section 14(3). So you've seen it now. If you take all the agencies of the government, federal government, you yourself will answer the question whether the government has complied with this Section 14(3), that no ethnic group or group of persons or groups or sectional groups shall dominate these appointments. So you see, when people are out there, they watch the government, and when things are not going well, some people would like to seize that opportunity to put fuel into the fire. Let the country burn. If you don't listen to dialogue, you don't submit to any form of rearrangement, then it means that people are frustrated. So that is why I was making peaceful. Yes, possible. Exactly. I have always said that the problem of Nigeria today is purely the insincerity of our leaders, because something that is good will be seen to be good by everybody. Something that is bad, you have the conscience to know that that thing is bad. And when you take something that is bad and you want to do a cosmetics surgery to something that is bad and put it to another person as something that is good, is selfishness. Those who enjoy the status quo have refused to accept that's why Nigeria is not working, including those who are benefiting from the very wonky nature of the federation. That's the area that I'm going to now. That the first side of the coin is whether those who are rebelling, as it were, whether they are employing the right tactics that could yield results. Because if you, as a Southeasterner, you wake up either in the name of a group or in the name of collection of bodies, persons, and you attack a police station and you kill policemen. Most of the time, the people you are killing are also victims like you. Yes. So whether that tactics is working or is capable of achieving the results, you see, again, whether the solution to this wonky system that we are running, whether the solution is also elsewhere, probably maybe in the constitution. The base constitution is incapable of curing itself of the flaws in it. I tell you one. Somebody argued yesterday that what is conference, national conference? Remember in 2014, there was a national conference. Yes. I was a delegate to that national conference. I participated in it. We were 492 in number. Yeah. And that national conference had an assemblage of the most experienced and best brains in Nigeria. Young and old, diverse experience, And there is nothing I can remember that national conference did not address. That border Nigeria, the way to make Nigeria work. Someone like Lamido was a delegate to the conference. Ibrahim Kumasi led all the delegates from northern Nigeria. Ulufala led all the delegates from southwest. General Ike Machuku led all the delegates from southeast. And Edwin Clark led all the delegates from the south. In that arrangement, we were able to take all the issues that affect Nigeria, both its unity, peace, development, everything. And in the end, we were able to bring about 600 far-reaching resolutions, power sharing, structure of government, etc., etc. Everything was conclusively debated and agreed to by all the delegates from all the parts of Nigeria coming there. So we will see that there is no parliament that will be greater than that national conference. Because the person I was referring to yesterday said, where you have a parliament, why are you talking about national conference? You go to the national parliament and deal with all issues, all agitations, be it structural, restructuring, and then you go to the parliament. I was laughing when I read it yesterday. And that's why I said, people know the problem, but they're insincere. At that national conference, when we had that exercise, a lot of compatriots that have died, I like someone like Yinko Dumakin, I missed him so much. When he died, I didn't eat for 2 days. I'm telling you the truth. Because I partnered with him at the conference. When the old men were doing their own, with the younger elements, we were all meeting at all times. And when they go to their caucuses and come up with any agenda, you go to your caucuses, then they tell you what will be presented to plenary, decisions they have agreed upon where they were, and then the zonal delegates will choose them and then come to support them at plenary. If they brought any issue that was controversial, we will network and oppose it at plenary. That was why we were able to agitate the minds of a lot of people.
I've had the suggestion. Now, one reason why the 2014 confab report had been abandoned the way it has been abandoned is exactly because of these things. That most of the delegates who agreed to some of those things did so because they just wanted to please you. They had a fallback position. I'm coming. I was just telling you this report will never be implemented. And when those delegates returned back to their different enclaves, they became the same old persons. They were different from the altruistic, nationalistic people that spoke and agreed to all those things at the conference.
The issue was very simple. Those who the status quo favored didn't want any type of change, no matter how small. When we finished the national conference, we sang the old national anthem to wind up. In brotherhood we stand. Even though tongues and everything, religion may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigeria, we held thee. We thought we had solved all the nagging problems facing the country. At that conference, I wasn't close to Alhaji Galadima before. Galadima was a strong advocate among the northern delegates to that conference. But each time we clashed during plenary, we will come out, he will come to me. We will start talking, and exchange banters, smile and all that. And in one of such discussions I had, and a few other delegates from the north, they said, after now, let's see how you implement all this. You take it to the parliament. If you take it to the parliament to get it approved, they will kill it again with a number. So they were playing along, knowing that for you to give it effect, there must be something that will be done to bring it to fruition. So that's why when this thing was handed over to, one of the boxes given to Buhari in 2015 when he was the report of national conference, Jonathan presented it to him. And it's been there, he packed it since then. The reason is that if you come to the parliament, those people who are opposed to any form of change, that are enjoying the status quo in this constitution, because they have a majority there, because they are benefiting, they will kill it. Look at constitutional amendment. All the attempts made ended in fiasco, unless you go and touch non-controversial things. If you want to talk about structure of the federation, they will climb the rooftop. So that is it. But it is becoming unfashionable. It will be foolhardy for Nigeria to continue to move with a framework that is not progressive, a framework that promotes internal strife. Because all these things you are seeing as a result of dissatisfaction with what the way Nigeria has been crafted. Apart from the amalgamation the colonial masters did, the regional arrangement worked extensively before the military balkanized Nigeria. And with this constitution put in place, and there is no way you can change anything in this constitution through the act of parliament. Because you want to create a state, an additional state, for example. Numbers will come into play. And not only that, you have to get concurrence from 2/3 of the state House of Assembly. That's numbers 24 out of 36. Yes. From where would you get it? So anyone has to use fees from there. We have just five states. And apart from that, you have the least number of legislators, both the House of Reps and the Senate. So also it's affecting other parts of Nigeria. Because unless something happens and people begin to see the need to rearrange things, nobody will give you any chance. This idea of winner takes all is at the root of the problem in Nigeria. And democratically, I think that the only way to go about it is to always read section 14(3) of the Constitution. Let the president every morning, let him take the Constitution and read section 14(3) of the Nigerian Constitution. And then ask himself if he's doing the right thing. Let everybody in authority in Nigeria always read section 14(3), because it says it clearly there, the need to promote national unity and command national loyalty. So all this bombing of police stations, correctional centers, Boko Haram insurgency, maybe you said it's for religious purposes. I don't think it's only religious. There is poverty everywhere. And because of that, the government is being challenged to sit up and accept the need to rearrange things. Let us postpone it. We may postpone it for this generation. The other succeeding generations cannot cope with it. They will not live with it. There are times you start seeing young men committing suicide because the country could not provide them jobs. These shootings you are seeing now, you think they are being done by motorbike touts? No. People who are doing it, we have seen the NSAS protest, coordinated. We see the NSAS protest, the way we rock Nigeria. People with brain. And there are graduates in Nigeria. Let me take Southeast for example, because they are the worst hit in this imbalance. We have people who graduated 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. They have no jobs. They are there running the streets. And they say that the idle minds workshop for the devil. So people try to do all kinds of things to draw attention and then maybe possibly survive. But this burden of police stations, correctional centers, I do not think it is the way to go. Okay. Let me stop you there, because that's the second side of the question as I asked. That's the second side of the question that I'd like you to answer when we come back from this break, which is whether the tactics being employed now are likely to lead to success. And if not, what then should we be doing? Who should be taking the lead in all of this? But let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay.
Issues are critical, germane to Nigeria's democratic process.
Politicians can only be seen maybe on television by judges. They should not intermingle, because once you intermingle, then you destroy the system.
When the personalities are big, important to national discourse.
When you reach certain stage of power and you demonstrate arrogance to the extreme, there's no other thing that will happen to you other than to fall.
When the developments are seemingly complex, confounding like a 1,000-piece jigsaw, that's when we require bold, sound and analytical minds to help put the pieces together. Jigsaw with Benga Arileba, now showing Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. on AIT. Jigsaw, demystifying the issues.
Right, Chief. I asked the question before we went on that break, which is whether burning down of police stations, correctional centers, killing of policemen, many of whom may be our kith and kin, whether it's actually the right tactics to employ at this particular time.
It is not the right tactics. Anything that will lead to loss of life and destruction of property, I don't subscribe to it. But you have to remember that one great man in history said that those who make peaceful change impossible make violent change inevitable. Yeah. You know, these are things you see that have played out in many other countries of the world, and people who are thinkers have come with such statements. Those who make peaceful change impossible make violent change inevitable. That's what Nigeria is experiencing today. The leaders of the country should make peaceful change possible through dialogue, through negotiations, through conferences, through looking at what we have. Can we sustain this? If we can sustain this, for how long? If it is not sustainable to eternity, then you mean that at some point there must be adjustments. Yeah. So this is what I think is happening, and those who are in charge should refrain from insulting people who are unhappy in Nigeria. You know, because that's what they are doing. They are insulting people who are unhappy in Nigeria. Let them make people who are unhappy happy. At the Senate, in one occasion, I said, is there any way you can get the court to order an unhappy man to be happy?
It's impossible.
You cannot.
You can't decree happiness.
You can't decree happiness. Happiness will come naturally.
It's natural. It comes from the depth of your heart and deep down in your belly.
Exactly. So you don't use a big stick to pursue these issues. I'm sorry that we've come to this pass in Nigeria. But these things are things you would have avoided. 7 years down the line,
many of these problems are as old as Nigeria.
Yes,
I don't know how long it will take us to some of the problems are actually being made to look as if they are cast in stone. That this situation, this is what it has become. We can't change it.
It's an attitudinal problem.
It's not touchable.
No, there's nothing that cannot be worked.
I don't see why it is difficult for us, as a nation, for instance, to say we want to have adequate and legitimate data of us as a people.
Yes.
Instead of this assumption that the North is more than the South, or you have more of this religion than this religion, why is it impossible to update your record? Even if the record was correct, even though that of 1963 was very controversial, nearly destroyed our republic. We have not had any population. There was a population in 1973. There was one in 1973. You know, at that time, it was both census of human beings and houses, you know. But that one was enumeration. It was controversial again. We have continued to have National Population Commission. What is their work? Every year they estimate Nigeria's population, you know. And when you are estimating, maybe you apply 2.5% across board. Those who are more in number will continue to be more. And yet, these guess estimates continue to be the basis for planning, for sharing anything that we need.
So that is what I'm telling you. It's like the local government and the states have said, where the military created them to the advantage of in some cases, you know. And you want to change it when you know that every month everybody will come to Abuja. FAC, Federal Allocation Committee, will share money. You take for states, you take for the number of local governments you have. How do you think that a state like Kano will agree to adjustment in the number of local governments they have, since they take more money?
So that they will now be taking less.
Bayelsa State has 8 local governments. Remember, so and they produce more of the money. Nigeria shares. Kano takes times 4 to 4, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a attitude of the mind, and that's why I said.
So how do you address that?
No, change of mind. You know,
if you get low-hanging fruits in this one, who bears the cart, for instance?
From the signs we are seeing, the people have
just recently, this iron is bent and bent and then it breaks.
I don't know what. At some point, I reasoned that by the time Nigeria wins itself out of leadership provided by people who fought the Civil War, by the time they all exit, because sometimes we all exit, give them another 20 years, anybody that fought the Civil War will not be alive. I can bet you that. By that time, the prejudices of the Civil War would have been reduced, and new leadership will begin to emerge. So that some of this new thinking, and I know, I'm very happy because children across Nigeria, both from the north, the west, the east, the south, they are all going to good schools. Even the elites from the north who are in top leadership of this country today, their children have gone to Oxford, Cambridge, some of them have obtained PhD. There was a day I was returning from England and we flew with two young people, one girl and one boy. They were all 27. The girl had PhD chemical engineering from Cambridge. The other one had PhD in electronics engineering from Oxford. They are from the north and they are Fulanese. So when you come here and tell me that the Fulanese are low people, they are not low people.
It's not true.
It's not true. They have intelligent people. Professor Omar Shehu is a Fulani. He was once the vice chancellor of my university, University of Nigeria and Soka, a medical doctor. They have very great minds. But the problem is that no matter your education, the majority who are in handling the levers of power continue to see this control and domination as a program that must be sustained at all times. And I tell you that change is something that must come. In South Africa, when the blacks were fighting the minority white rule under apartheid policy, nobody believed at that time that after some years that South Africa would begin to produce indigenous people as presidents of South Africa, from Mandela to Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa. They can no longer go back to a white president of South Africa. But at that time, people were annihilated. Someone like Mandela was in prison in Robben Island for 26 years. Steve Biko was killed. A lot of them, yes. At that time, the forces of oppression were so vehement and immense, and we were sure that they will rule forever, and eventually they crumbled. So it's like the same thing in Nigeria today. That's what I'm telling you. My friend whom I read yesterday, I continue to refer to his statement yesterday. I didn't mention his name. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
You said it's presidential speech.
I want to tell you that he was saying that no terrorist group, no rebel group can overcome the might of the government of Nigeria, militarily and so on and so forth. I laughed at that statement. I said, we must wear our thinking cap. Why have they not defeated Boko Haram?
Exactly.
Why have not defeated the killings going on in Nigeria? Are those forces not there? They are there. So by the time you get into commando style of warfare, nobody is safe. You will go somewhere, somebody will just emerge from the bush and attack you and run into the bush. That is not the thing. There has been coordinated effort towards defeating Boko Haram, but in Nigeria it has not worked. In Nigeria, in the north, Nigeria is bordered by Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. So it means that if you pursue these people from the Nigerian end, they run into Chad, and there's a government in Chad that will just stay there and wait. Won't pursue them out, they will smoke them out. To flush them out would have been easy. Nigeria has not succeeded in doing that. So there are times the gun cannot solve the problem. What will solve the problem will be dialogue and talk, and change of attitude. Because
it is don't talk that you
with the way things are in Nigeria, if you take every aspect of administration and you pocket it and you control it, the question is Nigeria working? Is the economy good? Are people happy?
I still have 2 critical areas to take you through before we leave.
Okay.
Let's talk about the quest for the presidency. That's one of the grievances of the Southeast.
Yeah.
From the scenario that we are seeing, it will take the magnanimity of the leading political parties, at least the 2 leading political parties, for that to happen. Now, looking at the political configuration of the Southeast, do you think this is feasible? The PDP, for instance, has 2 states in the Southeast, Enugu and Abia.
Yes.
APC has 2.
And the one, yes.
Your party.
My ABGA.
Your ABGA
is entrenched in Anambra.
A lot of people are saying that ABGA is is approaching the exit door.
When we get there, we'll discuss it. On this, we are talking about the feasibility
yes,
of a president from the Southeast.
A Nigerian president,
extraction, the feasibility.
Yes.
It's very feasible. It's something that can come through national understanding. You know, at the national conference, we agreed on rotation of the presidency between the North and the South. All the stakeholders at the conference agreed to this. And that rotation was followed with that rotation between North and South and across the geopolitical zones. So it means that in no distant time, each zone will be able to provide a president for Nigeria. For Nigeria. Taking it from the way we are now, the Southeast is agitating for somebody to be president of Nigeria from their zone since after the war. Even before the war, they never had. What they had was Governor General, the ceremonial president, Nnamdi Azikiwe. The Prime Minister was the head of government. But since then, till now, no person from there, despite the intellectual capacity of the people from the zone, and their belief in the Nigerian nation. The Southeast people are the people who live everywhere in Nigeria. Any part of Nigeria, even like now, if you go there, your village, you see a little man there living and building a house there. You know, so you see, that understanding was what the national conference also tackled. Rotation of the presidency between the North and the South and across the geopolitical.
Do you see this understanding happening between now and when it will become crunch time?
If they wish Nigeria good, it's very easy.
Okay.
The current president is from the North.
It's a change of attitude.
It's a change of attitude. The South produced the last president through Jonathan. We have had after we had Obasanjo from the South. He went to the North after Obasanjo. Yar'Adua got him. Unfortunately died, a good man. Then Jonathan finished and also came on board. After Jonathan, though he didn't serve a full term, he was stopped in the 2015 election. Buhari took over from the North. So now that he's serving 8 years, it will come to the South. If Obasanjo has served as president from the South in that rotation order, Jonathan has served in the South from the South, nobody from Southeast. So if Buhari goes now and he comes back to the South, the APC at least, I read them, they say the zone to the South. Is it not morally right and just for equity and fairness that the zone that will close the gap is Southeast? You know, we are not looking for a president from Southeast that will be president for people of Southeast. A president that will present for Nigeria. America has had people from minorities being president. Bill Clinton was from a small state of Arkansas.
We've had presidents from the same family.
From the same like John F. Kennedy, the Bush, father and son.
Joe Clinton, wife almost became president after the husband.
Yes, you know. So those things can happen, but it requires national understanding because of our level of political development and the level of our democracy. This idea of rotation is only to solve the immediate challenges. I know that there will be a time Nigeria will get to, nobody will want to know who the president is. By the time we begin to see presidents that will live by the dictates of the Constitution, Section 14.3. 14.3. This 14.3. They will always read it.
Okay.
If you apply it, I don't care about who is president of Nigeria.
Okay.
If everybody is accommodated.
Exactly.
The problem why everybody wants to have a shot is because of the breach of this section of it.
In just about a minute or so, let's talk about, we have a prologue that is part of this program. Let's talk about Anambra.
Yeah.
Anambra will be going to election in November also?
November 6th.
November 6th, governorship election. It's a very crucial one.
Yeah.
Let's start from your political party, for instance. I alluded to the fact that a lot of people are already speculating that Anambra is going to exit
by that election.
Well, how prepared is ABGA?
No, people have a right to say what they like, but the truth will remain. ABGA has been in Anambra State for over 15 years, and the successive governments have done very well for the state. So it's not by wishful desire.
Yeah, but the process of removing ABGA started with you, that you didn't get a second time
for the Senate.
Yes.
Well, a lot of things can happen. It's not because of ABGA. What affected my chances of return was simply because the PDP gave P2B vice presidential ticket. And I and myself come from the same senatorial zone, Mr. P2B.
Okay.
So ahead of the election, people wanted me to go back, and I was doing a great job. So it was what affected me as a person. Okay. I'm telling you, because Obi said, if I become vice president without a senator from my party, I go to Abuja. These were some of the things he used to deceive the people. And they said vote for PDP because he was running for vice president, and vote for ABGA for him to want to go back to the Senate. That the women will not make the difference. They will not be able to differentiate during the ballot. And those things, such things are very critical. It can affect anybody. But be that as it may, this is a governorship election where the party has performed very well in the state over the years. My eyes are on the record of service. So when the time comes, I can tell you that there's nothing the party will not provide that will be glaring to all to see that the party has done well and they can continue. But I agree we have some domestic issues. Those domestic issues are normal with election. They're normal with election. People are free to offer themselves and all that. You have the internal challenges, then you have the general election, which involves the whole state. I believe that the governor of Anambra State, who is the leader of our party, should be able to step out right now, to put things in order in ABGA before that election.
All right, Chief, let's leave it here. I'm sure the days and weeks ahead we'll be able to
discuss that.
When we call Anambra will be at a certain point when next will come to Abuja.
No problem. We'll discuss this.
For now we have to go.
Everybody has a right to aspire to lead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Right, for the past 50 minutes or so, we've been talking about Nigeria, particularly the developments in the southeast, and our guests have been Chief Senator Victor Umeh, a veteran of the political fight in Nigeria. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too for investing your time with us on JIGSAW. We'll continue to count on all of that. On behalf of all of us, my name is Benga Ariliva. I'll see you around.